Hi, my name is Riyaz Desai. I am the managing director of MicroPort and I'm based out of Mumbai.
Tell us about MicroPort's entry to India.
Yeah, so MicroPort, we are entering in this exciting market, and I think timing couldn't have been as good as it is today, because India has one of the highest burden of coronary heart diseases, and MicroPort has many innovative technologies, which we believe would have very positive impact on Indian patients. So in fact, like when I was called for an interview in Shanghai, and our chairman asked me why was I joining MicroPort, because having spent 20 years in the healthcare space, working with a lot of big multinationals like Boston Scientific. So one question came to my mind: why am I joining this company? And after spending time there, after looking at the R&D, the manufacturing practices, I realized that MicroPort really produces world-class technologies, and perhaps at a very affordable price. So the thought came to my mind, like as a responsible Indian citizens, I thought if I bring this company to India and bring these innovative technologies at affordable price, I'd be doing great service to this nation. And that was a thought came to my mind, and I told him the same thing. He was very impressed because he told me that he started this company with similar philosophy, that can we bring technologies, especially for Asian part of the world where affordability is always challenged, and really impact these patients and make high quality technology accessible to the masses. Yeah, so we are launching a very innovative technology. As I said, that innovation is kind of our central theme. So we are launching a product called Firehawk, which is a targeted reading stent, which is third generation stent, which is very innovative in terms of how it is designed, and its safety and efficacy has been established in large number of clinical trials. So now this stent, as you know that typically stents, have three components in it. One is a metal stent on which polymer is, put, and the drug is impregnated in polymer. And the role of polymer is just to carry the drug. And after, say, 90 days to 120 days, a drug is gone, but polymer stays there. And number of clinical studies have shown that the polymer is thrombogenic in nature, meaning that it can precipitate thrombus formation, and therefore it can have catastrophic effect on patients. And therefore, typically, doctors prescribe long-term dual antiplatelet therapy to avoid this complication. While if you look at third generation stent, what we are launching in India, it has polymer which gets absorbed in nine months. So therefore, in 90 days, your drug is gone, and in 9 months, polymer is gone, and therefore, stent is properly, get industrialized in the artery, and therefore, the need for this long-term dual antiplatelet can be obviated. So therefore, it's a very safe, efficacious, and obviously there has been number of clinical trial where all our claims have been proven. So price, obviously, as I said, like initially, my whole philosophy was bring this technology at affordable price. So now government has capped the price of stent at 29,600, and we know that many companies are in a fix whether to continue to sell their third generation stent, and government is forcing them, while we are voluntarily going to the market and offering our best in class technology at that 29,600. Again, I think this will have profound impact because more and more doctors, more patients would opt for this technology, and certainly can have better long-term clinical outcomes. Oh, okay, this is a very interesting question because when you have this kind of a business challenge where your prices are kind of capped by the government, in order to make your business viable, you have to always think out of the box and you need to be innovative. So essentially, I believe that we are in a very sweet spot at this point in time. The reason is that I don't have a huge cost structure, and therefore my, like one of the thought, I have in mind to go lean. Okay, and essentially we are working on productivity. How can we improve productivity? We are trying to find innovative ways where we have super distributors and have their low cost sales team. So we reach out to customers because in this medical device space, like maintaining touch points is very important. But again, we can't afford in today's business environment, we can't afford high cost resources. So therefore, I'm looking at low cost resources through distributors, and like building my lean model so I can make my business viable. Yeah, this is a very interesting topic, because, having spent 20 years in healthcare, having worked with a bigger multinational, I used to wonder, they spend billions of dollars. And if you see kind of products they introduce, largely they are acquired through some small companies. So one thing I learned that most of the innovations was happening in the small companies, okay, who were like very nimble. They had smart engineers who could think, out of the box and bring some new technologies. But actually, what happens is in the bigger companies or some of the Western companies, they spend a lot of money on innovation, but they don't bring anything out. Then they go out and then acquire companies at a very high, price. After spending so much money, they need to recover this cost. And guess what? How do they recover the cost? They charge typically all the new products or innovative products they launch. They typically launch at a very high price. Now, it's very logical for those companies. But what it really does is, these technologies become inaccessible for a large number of patients. And especially it is true for countries like India, where 70% of your healthcare expenditure is out of pocket. All these technologies, either they are not launched in India, or if they are launched, they are so expensive that only few percent of population can actually afford them. And therefore, I believe that, like going forward, because like last century was, most of the innovation happened in the Western world. But today, when there is a very less incentive for innovation, because every economy, be it Western economy like US, Europe, they are really reducing healthcare spend. And I think that going forward, there won't be any incentive for innovation the way one is to enjoy in the past decades or past couple of decades. So therefore, I think countries in East, especially in India and China, I think are very well poised, because culturally we are very tuned to do frugal innovation. And if you innovate something at a low investment, and they bring some path-breaking technology and make them accessible, what it does is it expands the market, it benefits large number of population, and the companies can grow much faster. So I believe that now this century, belongs to countries like India and China. I think again it's a great question, because as I said, MicroPort is just not a cardiovascular company. We have very great product portfolio in various therapeutic areas like orthopedic, neurovascular, peripheral vascular, then electrophysiology, and certainly we want to make sure that these technologies are available for Indian patients. So we are now bringing our next product portfolio, which is the orthopedic. Again, it's a very, very different product portfolio. We have very innovative. We have something called medial pivoting knee design, which mimics the natural kinematics of the knee, so it behaves like natural knee. So the number of clinical trials which are demonstrated that patient satisfaction is very high with medial pivoting knee. So that technology will be launched in the second half of the year, and obviously next year we'll be bringing a few more technologies. Yeah, so challenges would always be there, and especially in a country like India, when we are going through a lot of political turmoil, people are trying to understand, some of the regulation, price controls, and so on and so forth. What I want to really stay focused is on my, purpose of our business, of purpose of our existence. So I always keep, keep myself reminding that I'm here, or my company is here, my team is here to serve patients. And therefore, though there are challenges, but constantly we are thinking that how can I make an impact? How can I, make my technologies accessible to patients and make impact in their lives? So when I'm looking at challenges, already we did talk about price control as one of the challenges, and I talked about the lean business models, what we want to implement. And we will keep, I would say, evolving, learning from, what we face, and keep evolving, because we don't want to stay static, because the world is dynamic and we want to be a dynamic team, and therefore we will keep evolving, we'll keep finding ways to be relevant, be sustainable and viable in this country.